Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason, and we've got baby chickens on the way. They will be here, let's see, today's Monday, probably Wednesday. Hopefully, Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Hey, if they're here Tuesday, even better. But we're going to go through our brooder setup. Now, this is everything you're going to need to brood 8 chickens or less, to be honest with you. This, because we do small flocks at a time, we don't need to add that many. And so we only do 6 or 8, never any more than 8 anymore. Our first brood was 17, and we haven't needed that many since then. So we only do 6 or 8, and this is everything we need, everything we're going to use to brood 8 baby chicks or less. Okay, it's very easy, very simple. We try to simplify the best we can while keeping the baby chicks' health in mind. So the first thing we need is a brooder. Now this is very simple. This is just a basic clear plastic tote that you get from any big box store. You can get whatever size you like. This one is not quite 4 feet, but it's over 3 feet. Okay, so just a nice size. You got to remember, if you have 4 or less, you probably don't need this much. This is good for 8 or less. I wouldn't do more than 8 at all in there. And if you're going to keep them longer than 6 weeks inside of there, I wouldn't do even this size, because for 8 at least, because they'll get too big too fast for that. But you need this, so you use this for your brooder. We actually keep 2 on hand so we can clean one and have another setup ready to go, and we can just kind of flip the chicks back and forth while we clean one. All right, so first thing we need is a good brooder that works well. You need flake pine shavings. All right, we use flake pine shavings and not the fine, because they're larger particles. Fine pine shavings, while they're fine, but they're easier to eat for the baby chicks. And your goal is for them to eat feed, not wood, correctly? So that's why we use the flake, and we'll put a good thick layer of flake pine shavings in there. But before we even let them on the flake pine shavings, we use puppy pads. All right, these are just the training pads for puppies, and you can find a size that's appropriate for your brooder. And we put them down on top of the pine shavings for the first 2 or 3 days. That way we can make sure that they're not eating the pine shavings and that they're eating their feed. Because pine shavings in their young sensitive crops and in their systems is just not good for the development. It can actually harm them in a death way, right? It could kill them, or it could just make them not develop the best and give them some problems. And so your goal is to do everything possible to make sure that these baby chicks get off to the best start possible, right? So just a little protection doesn't hurt anything. So we do that, put the puppy pads on top of them, right? And then an essential thing is this brooder heater. Okay, it's got adjustable legs so you can raise it and lower it. They can get under here, and there's a heat plate under there, see? They can get under there and get warm, and it mimics the mother hen. Obviously, heat lamp is the traditional way to go. This has become more popular, thank goodness, because heat lamps are dangerous. Please, if at all possible, do not use a heat lamp. It's so dangerous, and it's too harsh of a heat for the chicks, and it's such a risk fire hazard wise for your home. Okay, if something goes wrong in the middle of the night when you're not awake, that's extraordinarily dangerous. And so while these might be a little more expensive, it's also a great insurance policy to not kill yourself or your chickens. So please buy a brooder heater that's appropriate. That's an appropriate size for the amount of chicks you're going to have. They're essential. All right, you need a good water and a good feeder. You can get these in a trough size or in a round one. If you only have 8, just make sure you have 8 holes, right? And then the water, very good, very easy. And then this water, though, we do something different. We're using an 8-inch terracotta plate. This is actually just the water basin for a terracotta pot planter. We're just going to turn it upside down and use it for a flat, steady surface for our waterer, okay? Because it's on these pine shavings, they can tilt this way, that way, whatever. And then it also becomes easier for them to knock over and get all your pine shavings wet. This, if they slosh some water out, the terracotta absorbs the water. That helps. But again, it's just a good flat base for this water to sit on. It really helps keep it level. Now you also need to make sure you have good feed, right? Some brands do a starter grower blend. It's all the same. You use the same feed for the first 12 to 16 weeks that they're alive, And some, like us, we've got New Country Organics feed. They give you a starter and then a grower, 2 different grinds of feed. And just because it's the starter is finer grind, and then that helps them get off to a better start, higher protein than the grower. I think it goes down to 18% protein, and that way, but it's also not quite as fine of a grind. But in that, you're gonna need chick grit. All right, this is grit that it's the same as your layer grit, but it's just small. It's very small pebbles essentially, and you don't start giving them this immediately. Okay, you're gonna need it after about a week, but they don't need it immediately. They just need to feed at first, but they're gonna need this grit once they start to develop to help break down their food better. And then now in their water, what we normally do is a little bit of apple cider vinegar, a little bit of honey in their water to start off with. You can get a probiotic drink mix for them. It's whatever you want to do. We prefer to do organic apple cider vinegar and a raw honey mixed in, just a little bit of dab each. We'll show that once we get the chicks here in a couple of days. When we bring them in, we'll show you how we do all that. But we prefer that way. You can just get a probiotic drink mix for them. It's okay, just however you prefer, but they need something in their water to help relieve the stress and help their body develop appropriately. One of the last things you need to make sure you have is a good cleaner. We use just a diluted vinegar cleaner mix where Angela's made some citrus vinegar cleaner and then diluted it 3 parts vinegar water, or 3 parts vinegar solution to 1 part water. And it works just fine. We take it, spray the brooder down after we've dumped all the shavings out. So we dump the shavings out, wipe all the dry stuff out, spray it down, wipe it out, it's good to go. But like I said, we have a second brooder there so we can have the chicks in it while we're doing that. And then this gives us time to air out as well. And along those lines of cleaning, you just make sure you keep it clean but not 100% sterile. It actually does them good to be exposed to some elements, okay? Some people will take little clods of dirt immediately and let them start getting exposed to the grass and the dirt, like put the clods of dirt in there with the grass so they're exposed to it immediately. We don't necessarily do that. There's nothing wrong with that. We just don't. We'll take them outside earlier, you know, to kind of give them some time outside on the grass and whatever. But it needs to be clean, but not 100% sterile. A little bit of exposure is a good thing. It helps their bodies get used to it. And then finally, we have just a good mesh or hardware cloth wire top for it to keep it on top, okay? This keeps things from getting in, keeps them from getting out, and it's very removable. All right, that's all we have for you. A very quick and easy, simple setup for your small flock brooder. We do thank you guys for watching so much. We do appreciate y'all. Again, my name is Jason. This is our Recreation Homestead. We love you guys. God bless you and goodbye.